Hey, this is Ilan with Best of 5. We're a weekly FGC talk show, so if we keep popping up on your recommended feed and you want to stay connected to the FGC, click the subscribe button and stick with us while we bring you more FGC news. Let's get down to it. So our first topic here is we have some developments in the stuff with Alan Bonet formerly of Panda Global and the Smash scene. Alan released a 32-page dissertation. I'm hesitant to call it a dissertation. I'm not sure what it's actually called. Article. We'll say an article. 32-page article attempting to clarify some of the allegations against them. And first and foremost, I believe I owe Alan an apology. I believe I owe you guys an apology. I believe I owe everybody an apology. And here's why. Usually, I'm very quick to call out people who have knee-jerk reactions, right? I'm usually the one saying, hey, let's wait for all of the information to come out before we make a judgment. And I feel like I made a very strong judgment and a very strong statement without having all the information. So I do apologize. I fell into the trap of having the knee-jerk reaction against Alan after the allegations came out from the Smash World Tour. And I apologize to Alan, and I apologize to you guys, because that's not right. We should have waited for the other side of the story. Now that we have the other side of the story, we can officially put this to bed, which isn't the greatest feeling considering how this all went down. In Alan's blog post, he goes over some of the meetings he's had with TOs, showing examples of TOs being courteous to him. He goes over his experience trying to work with Beyond the Summit. And he goes over essentially how the Panda Cup got started and his conversation with TOs on that front. In the post, he also makes some very bizarre allegations to he makes some very bizarre allegations to the Smash World Tour creators and to people from Beyond the Summit. One of the allegations, which is almost the first thing he wrote on the post, is that he saw that one of the hotels in San Antonio that was supposed to be booked for the Smash World Tour wasn't even booked, so he wasn't entirely sure if the Smash World Tour finals was even happening. He tried to sow some seeds of doubt, saying that he wasn't completely alleging it, but he was just saying that the Smash World Tour knew it was going to fail, but they kind of went and did it anyway, and they didn't even bother booking the stuff for the finals because they knew it was going to get canceled, so they didn't. Those were his allegations. The really bizarre thing about that, both being the front of the article, like that's almost the very first thing he says, and it being an allegation towards the people who alleged that he was the one causing problems, was that at least one of those things is we can factually check, right? And this is the webpage of the Marriott website that was the hotel that was being booked for the Smash World Tour Finals. And there it is. You go to the website, and immediately it shows you that that's the Smash World Tour Super Smash Con fans and family block. So that's immediately verified as false. One player showed that Smash World Tour also gave him the travel stipend and booked his hotel room and all that stuff. So a lot of people were coming out in defense of the Smash World Tour for the stuff that can factually be proved as false, this being one of them. So immediately right off the bat, it's kind of difficult to take Alan's word for the rest of the article, because this kind of discredits him already in the beginning. And in the rest of the post, some of the proof that he provided were notes that he took during meetings, which I think was very bizarre. But at the same time, like there were like spoken phone calls, so it's difficult to get proof of that kind of stuff, right? Basically, what this boils down to, which is not a great resolution after everything that happened, but at least it's a resolution. From what I've been seeing, it just seems like it was a misunderstanding, right? It basically seems like Alan was trying to come in and help the Smash scene legitimize their stuff by giving them a path to license their events with Nintendo. And the Smash scene, being hurt so many times by big Nintendo, did not buy into it and were very skeptical of it. So, from what I read from Alan's response and from what I've read from everyone else's response, it seems like, and again, not a lot of this is like provable, like none of this is like actually factual, or like something like we won't know the true answer to this unless we were in the room of them having this discussion, right? From what I've seen from Alan's statement and from the Smash World Tour statement, it seems like it was just a misunderstanding of Alan trying to make a path for everybody. Other people are alleging that Alan was trying to be the sole path of legitimizing Nintendo competition. Something like only through him and through Panda can you get a Nintendo license, right? Only by being in Panda Cup can you get an official license from Nintendo to run your event. That may be true. That may not be true. We have no way of knowing. A lot of people came forward after Alan's statement, which was very, very interesting. One of the examples that Alan used was one of the TOs for Genesis, I want to say. Hold on, I have this written down. One of the TOs for Genesis came out, or was one of the screenshots that Alan used, showing the message of how courteous the TO for Genesis was. And I did not have the time to set up everything, and now I sound like an asshole, but I have it all saved, so I'm pulling it up right now, if you would excuse me for 30 seconds. Here we go. Bobak, who is a TO that's been in the Smash scene for ages, has been a pillar of the Smash community, was one of the screenshots that Alan took that was a correspondence between Genesis and Alan and Panda. And the message was very professional, was very courteous. There was nothing really wrong with it. However, immediately after this statement came out, Bobak took to Twitter, and I'm just going to read the first two tweets. He made an entire thread. He made an entire thread about it, and there's a lot to be said there. But his thread starts with, "I got some shit to say." Not going into detail, but from the very first moment Alan opened his mouth to the last time we spoke, nothing but snake-like sounds could be heard, like that shit in Harry Potter. That's a very strong statement. I've had the misfortune of dealing with a lot of manipulative people in my life, so when I heard him talk, I was immediately put on guard. The gaslighting, the doubt he would cast on things I would say, the way he would play victim, saying he's not doing this for himself, etc., etc. Right? The post goes on. In one of the tweets in this thread, it's a gigantic thread. Bobak states, "In one call, it was confirmed that he was to be the licensee broker of the whole scene. This has potential to be really, really bad for everyone. That means eventually, if he wanted to, you would have to be part of the Panda Cup to get a license." So it's a lot of hearsay in the sense that it's a lot of he said, she said. However, the amount of people from the Smash scene who are notable TOs or notable pillars of the community came out to respond to Panda's comment, or to Alan's comment, sorry, about how he was being manipulative and how none of this would work. Some people even came out and said that Alan, in a call, had said that he was looking to, in the future, buy out their tournament, right? So in the post, Alan admits that his sales pitch to the TOs did not go very well due to his inexperience with being a salesperson and selling and pitching stuff to TOs. However, I think, with one exception, I think one tournament was the only tournament that actually came out and said that they had positive interactions with Alan, and I think that was the crew from the Big House. They tweeted out saying that they had nothing but good experiences with Alan and Panda and blah, 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 blah. But a lot of people kind of came out and were refuting a lot of the points that Alan had made in his post. So it's a lot of he said, she said. However, the amount of people who came out with statements against Alan is huge. It's huge. It depends on who you find credible. Exactly. And the fact that the people who came out against Alan are people like Bobak, who have been running Genesis forever. Like other TOs who have been running Smash tournaments forever, right? So it would seem that it's Alan versus the entire Smash scene. And that would lead me to believe that the Smash scene is more credible. However, who knows, right? It seems like it's a big misunderstanding. And like I said, we won't know for sure because we weren't privy to the conversations that happened, so we won't be able to make our own judgments on it. However, in another part of the post, Alan talks about his experience with Beyond the Summit and his experience specifically with a person named Ken and how dealing with them was the worst thing ever. He never wishes to do it again. He says Ken was extremely unprofessional, short, curt, etc., etc., etc. Immediately after that, Ken responded on Twitter with the exact same allegations towards Alan, right? Saying that Alan was difficult to work with. He even showed some texts, which, again, like, we won't be, like, without more context, we don't know the tone of, right? One thing that I thought was super interesting is that in the blog post on Medium, Alan also states that he mentions that he saw somebody come out named L Deep and he does not know who they are, so they don't matter. L Deep on Twitter, his real name is, if you would give me 30 seconds. I had an email correspondence with this person. So this person's name is David Gorman. And for those of you that don't know that name, David Gorman is one of the co-founders of Beyond the Summit. And I reached out to David Gorman to get like his title name and what Ken's title name was. Ken is no longer with Beyond the Summit. He left earlier this year. But David L. Deep is the managing partner for Beyond the Summit and one of the co-founders. So if he doesn't know who one of the big names of Beyond the Summit is, it feels like there's a little bit of either ignorance or like, you know, lack of awareness here from Alan's side. So it's very interesting. And a lot of people from the Smash scene came out in defense of Ken. So it's very weird. It's a lot of hearsay. We don't have a lot to go on because we weren't privy to all of this information. And it just seems like it's one gigantic misunderstanding. Maybe Alan was a little too aggressive. Maybe the Smash scene is a little too reclusive when new people are trying to do big things. Who knows, right? We weren't there. We won't know. It's just a shit show. The bright side of all of this is now that both sides have had their say, Alan has officially stepped down as CEO of Panda. He also announced that he will be divesting from Panda, so he will have nothing to do with Panda in the future. And I think they said they're putting together like a council to act as the CEO while he leaves and while they begin the process of finding a new CEO. So that's the resolution. Is it a satisfying one? No, because everything is kind of left in the air still. This was basically like the Smash scene got hit by a tornado. Nintendo is still Nintendo, so we don't know how Nintendo is going to react to all of this. Panda has put out another statement. So, yeah, Panda has put out another statement saying that they're going to help the people who recently left and the people who are staying at Panda to either find a new home or find somewhere that they can stay while Panda rebuilds. The Smash scene is trying to figure out what's happening and what's going to go on next. The Panda Cup has been postponed. They said it was... That's another point that I forgot to mention. The Panda Cup has been postponed, and we're all kind of left with everything up in the air. One thing that I think needs to be said, and it's something that I've said over and over again, and it's something that I genuinely do not understand why this happens. Alan, along with a lot of other Panda employees and Panda players, Panda personalities, et cetera, received a lot of harassment after all this shit hit the fan, right? That is not okay. 100% that is not okay. If anybody here, if anybody that is in this chat right now had anything to do with that, I suggest you just leave, right? Because I don't want you in my community. I don't want you in our community if you're someone who is doing shit like this because of a video game tournament, right? None of this warranted any harassment. None of this warranted death threats. None of this warranted any of those actions. And the fact that Alan even got doxxed, so his address, his information got revealed to the internet. So people were making threats. He essentially had to like leave his house. He had to go somewhere else for the time being. That is not okay. That is absolutely not okay. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you've done in this space. That is 100% not okay. I really wish I could understand why this happens, but I genuinely don't. I don't understand why this is a response to stuff that happens. I genuinely don't understand. I really wish I did. And I wish I knew how to stop it, right? It's just game. Why you have to be mad? Yeah. I mean, look, this situation sucks, right? At the end of the day, this situation absolutely sucks. Did Alan fuck up? Sure. Did people from the Smash World Tour side of things fuck up? Most likely. Did people from Beyond the Summit fuck up? Probably. But the fact that people are getting harassed over this, especially people who have nothing to do with this, right? Like we said, we saw a bunch of Panda players and Panda sponsored players from Panda staff come out and say, we had never heard of any of this. Stop harassing me. That's not okay. That's not okay. I really wish I could understand why. Shiggity Shank, you bring up a very good point. At the end of the day, this is all Nintendo's fault, right? If Nintendo was a little bit better about working with the community and being more open to working with the Smash scene, none of this would have ever happened. Shiggity Shank, I 100% agree with you there. Nintendo is like the big problem here. Okay, we have to move on. We only have like 20 minutes left, and we have some other stuff happening here that we need to cover. So, but that's the resolution. Everything's still up in the air. We don't know what's happening. Main stage happened this past weekend. It looked to be successful, right? It looks like a lot of people enjoyed themselves. Nintendo mishandled it. That means I 100% agree. Panda mishandled it with their statement, and Alan spoke a lot about it. He said that instead of saying a statement, he went through a PR firm, and a lot of it sounded not so great. Panda came out with another statement when Alan resigned as CEO of Panda, and they detailed that Alan had left, and they detailed their steps moving forward, like helping people who left Panda find a new home, and helping people who are staying at Panda with the rebuilding of everything, right? So, good on Panda. But yeah, all of this sucks. it still sucks. A lot of it is up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, I wouldn't wish this happening on anyone. And the fact that it happened to the Smash scene, who has already had so many issues because of Nintendo, is extremely, extremely unfortunate, and it really sucks. So all we can do at this point is stay tuned and see what happens and how they move forward from here. So that's it.